Welcome back, my FlossTube stitchy friends. Today is November 26th, 2017, and I think it's been about a month and a half since I did my last update video. I did have the project bag tutorial between the last update video and now, and thank you all for your kind comments about that. For sharing your project bags that you've made from my tutorial on Instagram and Facebook. I love seeing them. So please do continue to tag me in those so I can see your project bags too. And thank you for joining me again today if you are a return viewer, and welcome to all those who may be here for the first time. I hope that you sit back, relax, and enjoy. I've got quite a bit to show, not as much stitching as I had hoped. When is life going to slow down is my question. It's been a crazy month and a half, and even though I'm on my 5th day of 5 days off, I haven't gotten a lot of stitching done in this time off. It's just been crazy busy. I had a wonderful Thanksgiving. 2 of my children were in town. My oldest daughter was out of town with her husband to see some of his family, but my other 2 children and I had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We all shared in preparing the meal and played games afterwards. That's kind of a tradition of ours. We love to play board games. And then we went shopping, which was an experience in itself. I typically do not go out shopping on Thanksgiving or Black Friday, but I did both this year, and not sure I'll do it again. I got some good bargains, but I'm just not sure it was worth the hassle, and I don't know. Anyway, let's get on to the stitching. That's what you're here for. I think I sort of have these in order. Remember, I have my my whip list that I'm working off of, trying to go alphabetically, and it's still working pretty well. I'm still enjoying having the variety of things to work on. There are times that I find it difficult to put a particular project away to move on to the next one, but I know I'll get back to it eventually. So I think the last time I did a video, an update video, the last thing I had worked on was the Coffee Quaker from Heartstrings Samplery, and the next in the list is another Heartstrings Samplery, Cross Stitch Nation. I think most of you are familiar with that, and I really didn't get a lot accomplished on that. Basically, I just finished up that middle girl. I had not completed her dress, so I went ahead and completed her dress. And this is being stitched on 32 count Autumn Fields. Not sure who it's by. And I'm stitching with this call for threads 1/2. Then my next one on the list was one that I believe I started in Stitch Mania 2017 from Pineberry Lane, called Fancy Blanket, The Harvest Dance, and that's what it will look like when it's finished. And let me see if I can tell. I think I actually got quite a bit done on this one. What I've been doing is I make a working copy, and when I've stitched an area, I highlight it. And what I've been doing is each time I pick it up in the rotation, I highlight with a different color, and that way I can see exactly what I did complete. So last time you saw this, I only had basically up to here on the tree done. So everything else, the leaves up here, this side of Fancy, and this beautiful squirrel, I completed that. And this is being stitched on 28 count even weave with the DMC Call for Colors. Such a whimsical piece. I've enjoyed this. I think I could select anything from Pine Berry Lane and love it. The next on the list is a 2016 Stitch Mania start, and it is by Blackbird Designs, called Flowers for Sarah, out of the book Thank You, Sarah Tobias. And when I first decided to stitch this in 2016, I was going to make it into this pocket roll. But as I picked it up this time, I decided, no, I think I just want to stitch it all in one piece. So the last time you saw this, I had completed the first section here, and this time I completed this bottom section. And this is being stitched on 32 count platinum, and I have spritzed it with walnut stain. And I'm using the Call for Classic Colorworks threads. Again, I think I'm stitching this. Oh, I am doing the dreaded 2 threads over 2 over 2. We'll get more on that later. Then my next one on the list was Halloween Mystery Sal by The Primitive Hare, and I think that I either started this in early 2015, or it could have been as early as the fall of 2014. So this might be one of my oldest whips. And I'm quite ashamed. I don't have... I ordered it by PDF when I was living in England. And this is my very first Mystery Sal, my one and only. And I don't believe I have a cover photo of the complete Sal. This is what came with it. And then each month she sent along the new pattern. I'm embarrassed about how little I have done. Here we go. And this is a mystery fabric. I love the pattern. Again, I'm stitching 2 over 2, and I hate that. But I'm going to continue with this, and I'm going to continue stitching 2 over 2 with this, and we'll see where it goes. Okay, my next one is His Eyes on the Sparrow. And I left this one on the frame. I stitched all of this oval where you put your initials and the date. I also stitched this horse, everything that you see up here, as well as this bird and this motif. And I'm stitching this 1 over 2, and it's either on a 36 or a 40 count. I think it's called Oil of Amber, and it is from Vicki Clayton Hand-Dyed Fibers. I still love this. I cannot wait to do more on it. Every stitch is so enjoyable. It's just a beautiful design, and that is by Heartstring Samplery as well. And then comes Honeyberry, and this was a 2017 Stitch Mania piece. And if you recall, maybe when I started it in May, I had completed it this much. And it's stitched on 40 count silk gauze, 1/1, using, is that Belsoir? No, it's not using Belsoir. It's using, it's just using Gentle Arts and DMC. So that's what I had completed. After I got the outline of the berry, oh, I should show you what it's supposed to look like. This, when completed, by Erica Michaels. So when I gotten the outline of the berry completed, I realized I had used black, and it wasn't supposed to be black. So I was frustrated, devastated, sad. And a wonderful person, Michelle, she's not on FlossTube. What is her name on? I'm sorry, Michelle. I've forgotten your Instagram name. She offered to send me a new piece of 40 count gauze. So I picked it back up, and this is how far I've gotten this time. Decided to start kind of in a different location this time. So I did the little bee, and then I started on the honeycomb. I have to work on that during the day, so that's a weekend only project, so, because of the lighting. Whoops, put away my list. Then, okay, this is another old work in progress. Houses of Puffin Hollow. This too was a 2015 Stitch Mania start. I did Villages of Puffin Hollow. I loved it. It took me a while, but I loved it. Houses of Puffin Hollow. Most of you have probably seen this and probably stitched it even. I love it. I love doing houses. I started up here. When I ordered this pattern back in, I think I was still living in New Mexico, so it might have been 2007. I don't even know what the copyright is. Shortly after it came out, I believe. And I ordered it from, oh, what's the name of that? It was an online store. There weren't a lot of online shops back then that I knew about. But I ordered it, and I ordered the call for fabric. Well, the call for fabric is 40 count. Pearl barley, I believe. and they were out of that, so they substituted 36. And I did stitch the Village of Puffin Hollow 2/2. I didn't enjoy it, but way back then I didn't realize how much more I preferred stitching 1/2. So I think because I had stitched the other one 2/2, when I picked this up in 2015, I wanted it to be the same, and I started stitching it 2/2 on 36 count. This house was a beast. I've never disliked stitching a house as much as I disliked this one. So I actually just finished the house last night and started in on the words. And when I started in on the words, I kept thinking, I don't like this. I don't like this. It was like pulling teeth to stitch this. And so I stitched this little bit right here, 1/2, and I'm like, ooh, I like that much better. So I think that I'm going to stop and restart on the other end, and every time that I stitch up here, I will take a few stitches out down here, because I can't see myself continuing on with 11 more houses, stitching them 2/2 and hating every moment of it. It's just not for me. So I've decided at almost 56, I'm an adult and I can do whatever I want, and that's what I want to do. So even though it took up a lot of time to do that house, I don't care. I'm gonna take it out. And so last night, after I decided to take that out, I picked up In Santa Claus Land, which I'm not going to show that. I showed that last time. And because I just got a little bit, tiny bit more done on that. I also, somewhere in that mix, worked some more on my 2017 Christmas ornaments, and I don't remember. I think last time maybe I had just shown you Be Frosty and Be Merry. Those are the two that are meant to be the snow globes, okay? And I am taking some patterns and adapting them to be snow globes. So the two that I have, I believe, completed since we last visited. This one is also a With Thy Needle and Thread. I just did a portion of it. It's called Ho Ho Ho. This is what it's meant to look like. Take the glare off of it, or not. And so this is the portion that I did, and it fits very well in there. The next one that I did is Merry Friends from Plum Street Sampler. It's a little bit big. He's a little bit bigger. It was kind of a tight squeeze to get him in there. This is what he's meant to look like. It's from Jack's Sweet Shop series. And this is what he looks like on mine. So I have 2 more to complete before Christmas. I may go back and do another Santa, just like this one, the Be Merry. And then I have another one that I think in my stash that I may try to adapt as well. So I feel good with where I am on those. But we'll see. I did want to bring out my Ginny Bean Halloween sampler. Teresa at Kitten Stitcher had asked a question, and I apologize, I've never gotten back to answer that. She asked what fabric I was stitching this on, and I don't know the fabric. It's a 40 count something, but this was my first test for dyeing with walnut hulls out of my backyard, and I love it. It's crunchy. So Teresa, that was my test piece. I did the tutorial on the walnut hull dyeing, and this was the piece that I first did just to test it out and see how well it would work, and I loved it. So that's why I decided to do a tutorial on it. What else have I been up to? Well, I've been making more project bags. This is the project bag that I made. I started my tutorial and then I freaked out because I thought I had my measurements off. So I made a bag to make sure my measurements were right. And this is the bag that I made in that tutorial. Well, that I made in preparation for the tutorial. And then I did the tutorial, and this is the bag that I made in the tutorial. And I forgot what I put on the inside. Oh, snowflakes. What did I put on the inside of this one? Oh, bats. And then I've made a couple more. I can't remember if I showed this one before. Another Halloween style. And I think that I completed this one as well since my last video. This is a good way too, if you're a quilter, to use up scraps and piece things together. As you can see, I pieced that together. And then I made this one. I've forgotten what I put on the inside. I'll just a black. And this matches my fabric basket. Sort of. And that's it for my making stuff. I love Kitten Stitcher's What Am I Into? Clearly I'm into shopping. I'll start off with my favorite Etsy shop, Jen's Stitching Niche. I actually have 2 different orders from her, and I can't remember what came in each order. This is the 1801 House, the limited edition kit from Chessie and me. And it came with the fabric, the floss, and the little finishing box. And I think on that one I ordered take them out of the package. Easier said than done. I just lost one. This set of Just pens, I love these counting pens, especially when I'm working on 40 count. I use counting pens. I don't grid my fabric, I just use pens. Then I placed another order and I got Cherry Hollow Farm sampler by Stacy Nash, and it also came with the fabric and the floss in this cute little pouch. I had wanted this one for a long time, and I saw it on her shop, and you know, nothing can travel alone. So Pineberry Lane, Sisters Farm Fresh Eggs. So cute. And then again, I got some more counting pens. These are Christmas ornaments. Turn them upside down, you can see better that they're ornaments. So cute. So that was from Jen's Stitching Niche. And, oh, as well as after watching, I think it was not her latest video, but the one prior to that, Kitten Stitcher showed this sampler, Ragamuffin 2, and I fell in love with it, had to have it. So that's also from Jen's Etsy shop. I received my November Victorian Motto Sampler Shop Primitive Threads. They're always just so beautiful. And then from 123 Stitch, I got my next Little House Needleworks Early Americans. I picked up a pattern that I've wanted for a long time. Birds of a Feather, Santa Claus. And this has been in my wish list on 123 Stitch. I think since Mackenzie, Canadian Mackenzie, we miss you, bought it. And I just keep leaving it there and looking at it and thinking, do I need another huge sampler to stitch? And then Heidi Cran showed this in a couple of her videos. And I think Cozy Egg is stitching it. Emily of Eclectic Possessions is stitching it. And I don't have any plans to start this anytime soon, but I needed it in my collection, and it's this. And, well, here it is in a bigger size. Dutch Beauty. And I'm going to stitch it with, I'll pull the colors, but I think Heidi is stitching it in the Call for Colors. And I thought that they were beautiful. They are so me. I don't like the bright colors. I like the more muted tones. And it's just beautiful. It's going to be huge. So there is that. Then when I had placed this order with 1, 2, 3 stitch, I had tried, I loaded up my cart. I waited a day or two, and some of the things in my cart were no longer available. And this was one of them, the Sally Spencer sampler, Birds of a Feather. So I went and found it on Everything Cross Stitch. So I put, you know, of course, you can't order just one thing. So I found this one, the Bitter Flower sampler. Love that one. And then I had toyed with getting this when it first came out. And then again, I'm going, oh, do I need more samplers? I really don't need more samplers. But, you know, December 23rd is my birthday. And, you know, every girl should buy herself a birthday present. And I thought that I had waited too long because it sold out on every Samplers Across the Sea. Said it was sold out. But I went to Sassy Jack's Stitchery. I didn't go there. I went to their website. I would love to go there in person. I first heard about Sassy Jack's when I listened to the podcast on Fiber Talk with the new owner. And if I'm ever back on the East Coast, I'm going there. So yes, I bought the Uffendale Sisters sampler. Happy birthday to me. Most of you have probably seen this. This is one sister. This is Anne's. And this is Isabel's. And everything that people have said about this is true. The patterns are beautiful. The diagrams are beautiful. Even if I never ever stitch it, bite my tongue, I will stitch it. It's just a treasure to have in my collection because it talks so much about the history of the samplers. So, yeah. That happened. And then, last but not least, from the Cottage Needle, I got my final installment of Schoolhouse Sampler. And I did go ahead and pick up the horn book or two. And she was giving away free floss. And this is one that I've not ever heard of before. And in this lighting, am I going to be able to read it? Hang on. Cosmo. It feels beautiful. She's going to carry the full line, I believe. But these were the free ones that came with my order. I mean, it just feels, it feels more like the thickness of Anchor floss versus the skinny mini DMC floss, which I love and stitch with, but when you do stitch with Anchor, you can tell the difference. And Anchor used to be very readily available back in the 80s and 90s. Don't know what happened. Okay, what else am I into? Shopping. These, and you can see I was really into them because they're all gone. They are the best. However, even though I'm all into them, I'm gonna have to be all out of them because starting January 1, I'm gonna cut out all the crap in my diet. The other thing I'm all into, okay, I don't want to forget this. Fabric. No more new fabric in 2018 for a while. I am not going to show you each and every one. I'm going to show you some of my favorites. This came from Country Heart, the number 4. Right there, I'll show you that. On Etsy. She has some beautiful fabric. And I just picked up I think the fat halves maybe. And then an extra of a couple. And then I don't remember where I got this one. I got it off Etsy, but I just thought it was cute. With the flying Santas and houses. So I have it upside down. Very cute. My absolute favorite, and I searched. I found this on a fabric website. Can't remember the name of it now. And every single bit of it was sold out and put on a wait list. And I looked for days and I couldn't find it anywhere else. And then I just decided to go in and look one more time, and I found it on a website called Farm Chick Quilts. I had only seen this fabric on the other website. This is going to be a project bag for my houses of Puffin Hollow. But Farm Chick Quilts had the coordinating fabric of this. And this. Love it. So hopefully over my Christmas break, I'll get some sewing time in. Then some other fabrics, and I'll just show you. Look at this. How adorable is that? That was on clearance. I thought this was fun. And this. So there are a few more in here, but I won't go through all of them. And I have a stack probably that big that I'm not showing you. So no more fabric buying until maybe mid-year next year, I think. Okay, so if you have lasted this long, and we're not doing too bad, we're at what, almost 40 minutes, I have a tip that I've been meaning to share with you guys for quite some time and just forget every time, and you know, I click off and I'm like, oh man, I forgot that again. You know, Thread Heaven stopped manufacturing their thread conditioner, and then there's one called Thread Magic, which is identical to Thread Heaven, only it doesn't have the little sparkles in it. I don't know how Thread Magic gets away with marketing theirs, because really all it is the silicone that they use for earplugs. That's all it is. Thread Heaven got away with it because they put sparkles in it. I don't know. Anyway, what I do, I wear contacts anyway, so I always have a stash of these on hand. I picked these up at Walmart for like maybe $5 or so, and you get 6 sets. And for those of you who don't wear contacts, there's an R and an L on the cap of each one. And what I do is I put, after I throw it, in the L side, I have, this is still Thread Heaven. I put a glob of Thread Heaven on the L side for my light threads. And on the R side, I put a glob in here for my dark threads. And you can see how, I mean, I've probably been using this for a month and a half, these globs. So you can see how the dark threads do pick up or do leave little bits of fiber in the Thread Heaven. So that way I have both with me all the time in the same spot. If I want to just throw this in a project bag and take it with me, I have one little thing. Like I said, it's a contact case. You could put them in every project bag. These just happen to be the ones that I currently going to use for my actual contacts. But yeah, so that's my little tip for today. Let's see, my plans for Christmas. You know what? Next up on my list, I think what I might do, and this is subject to change, for December, I might, in addition to finishing my Christmas ornaments, I might just pull out all of my Christmas whips, which there aren't really that many, now that I think about it. In Santa Claus Land, Love and Joy, that's it. And my ornaments. So I have 3 whips that are Christmas because I finished my other Christmas ones. Although I do have birds of a feather, I have 3 of the 4 Santas stitched. Maybe I'll pull the 4th one out and work on him. A new start. But I think for the month of December, I'm probably gonna focus on my Christmas whips and then start back fresh with my lessons in ABCDarian schoolhouse lessons after the new year. Because I'm only 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm only 4 away from getting back to Mercy Goodheart. I can't wait for that. Okay, I think that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you again for all of your likes, your comments, your questions. I've been so bad about getting to answer all your comments or, you know, even acknowledge. I've read all your comments. This year has just been a lot busier than I anticipated. I need to win the lottery and just stay home and stitch and watch YouTube and sew and shop. Gotta play the lottery. Or find a second job, but then I wouldn't have any time to stitch. Anyway, thank you all. again for stopping by for a visit. I hope that you had a wonderful month in November. It has been crazy, like the Friday, 74 degrees here in mid-Mo, and I went out and did yard work. But I hope that, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I hope that this next month brings you much stitchy happiness. You get to spend time with friends and family if you so desire. And hopefully I will be back again before Christmas. I'm going to try to be a little bit more timely in my update videos. I'm hoping that I will be back to show you my ornaments before Christmas. And until then, I wish you all well and happy stitching. Bye for now.